Hi, friends. It's been a day or two, hasn't it? Or 3 or 4. Well, I've got a number of journals. Don't know how they're all going to get recorded, but I trust that they will. So I'll start here with the first one. And no, nobody hit me in the eye. I woke up with that. I don't know what it is. I'm not worried about it. I figure maybe it's, toxins escaping or something. Been using chlorella for a while and some different herbs that I don't know. Strange things going on, but I'm sure it's no different for you guys. Okay, this is a journal from 5/29, the first one of that day. And the Mayan day was 7 storm. I did something a little different. I don't remember now why, but I went and, if you click on any of my transcripts, if you go over to the written journal, and if you click on the top line up there where it says the Mayan day, that's a hyperlink. And that'll take you to MayanMagics.com, and you can look up today's date or any day that you choose. And for some reason, I copied it down here. There's a little blurb about 7, and then there's a little blurb about storm and what that means. So, here we go. Okay, once again, not sure what this is about. Yeah, like you, I've noticed that this is a pretty consistent factor of late for how the journals begin. Okay, where was I? Okay, for how the journals begin. But hey, this time I literally had all the lights out, everything all set to lay my head on the pillow, and the body is tired, yet I see the self opening a journal. Go figure. Well, it just is what it is. I wonder what wants to be said now. Kitty cat fur sometimes makes me have allergies. This increase in the number of journals flowing through has been an adjustment. I don't mind though, especially since I figure that, for now at least, it's my life's calling. Not that I believe we all have a life calling us somewhere, but hey, they're only words. What can I say? Things are just strange, okay? So drop down into heart if you want to trek with me and track with me here. Why am I here? Oh dear. Now why would I want to start out like that with a mind question? And that's an interesting one anyway. Why am I here? That could potentially also be a heart question, or at least a question to help us center down, to get into heart. So let's check it out. Why am I here? Mind pipes up saying, hey, I've already answered that any number of times. I've said it's for fun, for enjoyment. Don't you remember? Excuse me, but do shut up, dear mind. Now is not the time for you, which you well know since this is a journal, so what's with this? I go to heart to have a listen. That is, I center down stronger, creating a more intense focus of attention and intention centered in the chest, and just watch. It's not a waiting, since that would imply time. It's more a being, observing while just being, now, here. Well, I hear silence. That's interesting. Hey, at least mind was quiet. That can be nice. But I haven't left heart. I'm still and always at least partly focused here, alert and aware of what might arise. Right now, it's just a good feeling, nothing specific. Likely the nice feeling that's always present here, so I won't read anything into it. Besides, if I did that, it would just be mind. Do you see? Okay then, I'll ask the question again. Why am I here? And the I, of course, is the real being, not the body, not the mind, the false persona. So, why am I here? Well, it's a dumb question when looked at that way. Why is that? Superposition, remember? Greater self. When you're in superposition, then you're ever and always, everywhere at once. So I am here for the same reason I am everywhere, just because I am. Now, even though I'm telling you, this is interesting. Be back in a minute. Well, when it rains, it pours. So, now, even though it brings mind in, that can be cautiously fine. So, I'll say it looks as if it would be, I'm not believing this. The phone doesn't ring forever, and then in 5 minutes it rings 3 times. Go figure. Okay, so I'm cautiously bringing mind in. It looks as if it would be good to look at that question, why am I here, to see if it's meant some other way, since the first 2 ways kind of washed out. Why am I here? Heck, at least it's given me the most likely name for this journal. Okay, I'll be serious again. Why am I here? Since the real I can't be at a here as opposed to a there, being everywhere present at once, let's leave the real self out of it for the moment, okay? Not to get too complex, how about we look at it from the body-mind perspective? Not something I do all that often. So, okay, why is the body-mind here? Well, at least that makes some sense, so maybe we're on a roll. Why is it here? Uh-oh. Now we have to define here, don't we? Does it mean here, as in this house, as living in Arkansas, for instance? Perhaps it means on this earth, on this planet. And that would make some sense. So let me tune in, back to a more intense focus inside. Okay. I've got a little something. It's not why here in Arkansas. It's more like why here in this embodiment, why here on this planet. So let's go from there. You take it by the feel of it, my friends, at least I do. You kind of just feel around. Guess I get to demonstrate the roughness or inaccuracy of that. It's not involving mind much at all. It's much more sensing than it is thinking. Now, this is interesting. You may be aware that I stick pretty darn closely to now, to the now here. Well, this is stretching me out a bit into the future and the past by asking why I'm here. It feels kind of strange. I didn't realize it had been that long since I'd ventured forth from the now. It's kind of funny. I feel rusty at it. There's some sort of a linking up going on. I can feel or sense it deeper inside, a bit beyond where the conscious awareness can easily access it, I'm being shown pictures, being shown images of things happening, of my place in that. It feels like the future. It's rather strange, since while I can sense that it's showing me some future scenes, I'm not really seeing what they are, just that they are. Does that make sense to you? It's a hard thing, so don't tackle it with mind, which won't grok it for sure. We're expanding, my friends. What we've been taught to call the subconscious and the unconscious are slowly, maybe not that slowly, becoming more conscious. Please be sure to be centered in heart for this. Hear me from there, for that's where this comes from. And we all share the same heart, my friend. We are one. Let's all keep remembering just who we actually are. Keep holding the body-mind off at a bit of a distance to get that beautiful breathing room I speak of so often. Keep remembering who you are and that you are divine. If you're not ready to take it on that you are source yet, well, that's okay. Don't push the self into anything. If you do, it's a guarantee that you're in mind. Heart doesn't push that way. Yes, I'm seeing a reconnecting going on. I'm seeing what I'm being told are celestial team members helping everyone out with this. Those assigned to each one. Some since time immemorial. No, I don't know what that means. Those are just the phrases I'm being given. And I don't know by whom or how, not yet. But I get the sense I will soon. Oh boy. Guess I'm asking you to take in a lot here. This is more out on a limb than I've gone before with you or with myself. Or heck, maybe not. Maybe it's just going out on that limb in a different way. I don't know. As for the why am I here question, I get just the general sense that it's to be an advanced, well, not an advanced guard, more like an announcer. Someone who can see a bit farther up the road ahead and come back and tell what he found. Don't know why this body-mind, or the I that I am, is more suited to this than another would be. That part isn't clear. Heck, not much is clear, but that's okay, my friends. It will likely be the same way or similar for us all at first. It's a good idea for you to see how I'm handling this. You see me not going to mind with it. That's the worst thing we can do. And it's not that it's wrong, though. Remember, there's no such thing as wrong where we're going, or where we are. We leave that behind with 3D. No. Going to mind with it would break the tight, firm connection to heart. That's why it's the worst choice to make. We do far better to train the self to stick with heart, no matter what. Even when things get fuzzy and mind is just dying to jump in and solve things, to lend aid, you say not only no, but hell no. This is heart stuff. Remember, too, that we're also in the midst of, or the beginning of, reprogramming mind. So, being consistent makes it go that much faster, just like raising a child. The kind of reinforcement that was most effective, I learned back when I was a psychology major, was intermittent reinforcement. That would keep a behavior on and make it grow strong and last long if it was intermittently reinforced. So not even now and then, just don't go to mind with it, period. So we make friends with haziness, with fuzziness. We just know that curiosity is largely a mind thing. Heart just knows. Now again, nothing at all wrong with that. It's just not what we're after here. Wrong tool for this particular job, which is deciphering heart messages. Could not be a worse tool, my friends. So, no matter the pull, be firm with your mind. It isn't in charge unless you give your power away to it. Always it's a choice. 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 choices. That's what got you right here, precisely where you are. So you're doing a pretty fine job of it, the way I see it. Just the fact that you're one who stays with the journals, past 1 or 2 of them, speaks well for your ability to tune in. And I like it because it expands our lovely community here. Hearts united. That rocks. Now, these beings I see working with us, it isn't like they're floating around, and I don't see any halos or wings on them. They seem to walk on the ground, some sort of ground or surface, not necessarily this one on Mother Earth. I'm assuming I'm seeing into the next dimension or density. It has its own form of seeming solid, but it has a different feel to it. Things are somehow lighter. Don't know how to explain it yet. Maybe later. Yeah, later. So, they seem to be regular beings, much like us. They're wearing clothes. Yeah, they are humanoid. That much is pretty clear. Not seeing clear faces yet, nor details. I do get the sense that some are different. Not sure how yet. But they're all working together in a coordinated way. Ooh, my tummy was tempted to fear there for a moment. Guess I'm not used to seeing this way. Have had very little experience with clairvoyance, so I'll be much like many or most of you with this. We may be tempted to a bit of fear. So I pause. I sit with it. The immediate response was to push fear away, to quickly control it. Instead, I've slowed down. I'd rather face it now, whatever it is, than have it stew and magnify, only to come back later. Okay. So maybe the fear was at the sense that some of these beings may be feline types. Now, it wasn't fear of them, for all of these beings have beautiful, calm energies. They radiate light, not harm. No, it was just perhaps the body's fear of the unexpected, the unaccustomed. So, I'll be gentle and understanding with the body, not rushing it along into something it may not be quite ready for. You see, it's good to have patience with the mind. It has its issues, but the body does too. And when we have this breathing space, we can distinguish and minister to them both. I just felt the whole torso relax. A lot. Now that means bingo. Hit the nail on the head. You see, chances are good here that what I saw was much clearer than what I allowed the self to perceive. Do you get this, what is meant? Do you see it in the power of thought and belief to structure our life? Beliefs are all like blinders of one sort or another. To believe this is, of necessity, to reject that. So it's arranged for you not to see that, or only see it dimly, or even see it as something that it is not. All of this based on the power of a belief. Now stay in heart with me through this, please. How you doing with that? Did any of this bring up some fear or discomfort with you? Are you able to handle it gently with kid gloves this way, or do you box yourself around? Are you able to catch mind out pushing you around, being harsh or insensitive? Now, you don't need to do anything about it if you spot that. Just watch. Watch always from heart, and you'll be amazed when that really kicks in and you start to witness things changing as if on their own. It's really awesome. So for this and so many reasons, it's really wise to keep mind out of this. When mind isn't involved, you see all the things that you can link up with, all the things that you can perceive and begin to work with on a deeper level. From heart, of course. There's nothing wrong with mind. It's just been misprogrammed. Basically, through no fault of our own, this wasn't humanity's doing. So let us not hate or resent mind. It will be cleansed and purified one day not too far away. Just hang in with it for now. You don't want it being cruel to you. Well, don't be cruel to it either. Works both ways, but of course. Okay. I tried to open up a conversation with them. It wasn't terribly successful. There was a question of whether I wanted to be assigned one particular being to work with or the group. I said I didn't know, whatever was best. So it looks like we'll leave it like that. I like to sleep on things anyway. Though I can still function well in an emergency, it's not my favorite way of being. I don't care that much for surprises, for things unannounced. All right. Now, I'd say that this thing turned out just fine. I got a peek into some things, and I was shown much more than conscious mind saw. That much I know. We'll see what the night reveals to me, though I'm not one to usually remember dreams. My best time has usually been on a rising. That's when now and again I just seem to know things, to wake up just knowing this or that. Kind of odd, but it works. It resonates. And it's certainly better than not knowing at all. Well, I don't know. Not knowing is fine too. So, what are the ways there in your personal world that your inner self or the subconscious mind communicates with your conscious mind? What avenues work for you? If you're not aware of any, that may just be due to being outward focused for so darn long that you're not used to tuning in to your own insides. That should be in process of righting itself now that you're spending some heart time. It's marvelously transformative. Hang in there, and if you haven't seen yet, you'll soon see. It doesn't take long. The biggest challenge, I take it for some, will be not taking this whole thing to mind, letting it churn over it all. Not a good idea, but old habits die hard, don't they? What would be the best way to handle this? How about self and now? It works for me. Now, self is higher self, of course. You could even equate it with what you contact in heart. By calling always to mind, as if in a mantra, self and now, what you'll be doing, in addition to reprogramming the mind, is sticking to the perfect place or orientation to make the best decisions and to come up with the best understanding. Mind will, of course, want to convince you that it could improve the view in some way. Well, you'll be fine as long as you don't listen to it, for as soon as you do, you're immediately drawn up out of heart, down into mind, and there you go, hamster wheeling along for a while. And who knows how long it'll be till you come back to yourself, quite literally. In that case, mind got the upper hand. It took control. Temporarily. No big deal, my friends, truly. The big thing here is not to let mind turn around and beat you up for this, as if it was a mistake. Now, back into heart with you. Hear this from there. There is no such creature as this mythical mistake beast. It doesn't exist. Got that? It's a boogeyman churned up out of nowhere. Now, heart clearly knows this, so if you stick with heart, so will you. It's only when you step out and away from your center that you can be played like that. Heart is intuition central, remember? This is the finest spot for your guidance system to operate. Well, it operates fine all the time. It's the finest spot for you to tune in to its operation. You've been given so many little things, so many hints and ways to spot mind at work here in these journals. Your mind is likely full of them. That also likely makes mind a good bit nervous at times. Can you figure out why that would be? Just hazard a guess, if you will. What I see is that mind is looking at its demise, or it thinks it is. It's staring into the face of the very one who will depose it. So that would be heart or you, and it doesn't much like that. Even though it likely also has the sense that things won't be so very bad, even for it, yet it's just so very different from everything it's ever known in this life, and many others likely. Well, didn't I have a twinge of fear at the beginning of the journal, perhaps on spotting a feline being, walking very much as a man would, clothed and all the rest? Now this being was emanating nothing but kindness and gentle understanding, and yet my first response was to draw back, to even disguise from my own view the clarity of the scene. Do you see? Fear does funny things. Now, does it make sense for me to punish myself for that lapse into fear? How would that help matters, first of all? And how unheartlike it is, too. When in doubt, go to heart. Just go there and be. That's all, just hang out. It's enough. Your guidance will flow, and at some point you'll tune into it. Meanwhile, you're in a really cool, good feeling space. Hey, that's a win-win, right? So, hang out in heart, my friends. I guess that's largely the message here, if there is one simple message. Things may be about to get rather strange. Well, all the more reason to get good at this hanging out in heart thing, huh? The more we get good at it now, it will be that much easier for us later, when and if things go haywire and we've got lots of people running around freaking out. Just one word on that before I close here and get the body some needed sleep, and that would be this. Envision yourself the calm one in the midst of people coming unglued all over the place. If you will take up this view from heart, you will get the powerful sense of the big difference you or any one of us can ultimately make just by sticking to heart. If our inner eyes were open and we could see the energies already, we would see the huge size, the strength, and the power of the toroidal heart field. It goes around us like a toroid, a donut. Now, this field forms around your physical heart, which does have its part to play in all of this, as does the heart chakra. So don't underestimate them. What I want you to get the sense of now, while things are calm, is the power of someone being centered in heart to make a difference in those around them. The very coherence of your heart field will act to sort out the energies of those around you. It will also support them in finding their own strength and calm, maybe even finding their own way into heart. Who knows? We all have one. The thing is, even though we may be few, we be mighty, my friends. And there's another very good reason to stick to heart. Remember how very quickly mind can come in and weasel us away from being heart-centered? Now, do you recall how long it can be at times before you come back to yourself enough to realize where you lost it? Sometimes it can be days, weeks, months, can't it? We don't have that kind of luxury in a crowd of confused people. Please consider, they all have heart and energy fields too, and they are very mixed up and excited and terribly jangled. You don't want to subject yourself to that energy, which you will do by default when you slip out of heart over into mind. Remember, those are minds going crazy like that, doing that to their energy. And that makes a powerful field, a field of chaos to which all minds are susceptible, except those who are anchored in the calmness of heart. Yes, it is entirely possible to be beautifully calm, even in the midst of such a storm. And again, I'm not saying such a storm is coming. The only hitch is that if you slip out into mind in the midst of such a tangle as this, it can be hell to find your way back in. Suddenly, you're in mind's perspective, and from the way mind sees things, this whole heart thing is absolutely nuts. It wants to be in charge. Mind has no faith in it. It won't want to let you back in. It will fight tooth and claw at such a time to retain its control over you. Not a good setup. So, be in heart, my friends. In a way, I'm sorry for bringing you into this sort of energy, but here's the thing. Wouldn't you rather go over this now while you can do it with calmness than have to deal with it in a crisis of some sort. And let me be clear that I am not predicting any sort of crisis. We are just playing what if. We are role playing. I don't know why. The beautiful beings I see here on this higher dimension are the picture of calmness. There is neither upset nor excitement here. So I don't see that it's coming from them. I just don't know. But listen to me. I have a flexible perspective. Now, to me, that means that I'm not afraid to go wherever I'm led. Where heart goes, there go I. I'm not subject to fear. There is not one iota of fear within heart. All I can think right now is that we are all being given something like a fire drill, a what-if sort of thing. This gives us both the time to sort it out in quiet and peace, but also the ability to glean something from this that we could not in an emergency state where we just have to set everything aside and just function. We can gain a good measure of preparedness. And you never know when that one drill came between someone being terrified and someone performing well in spite of it. One person can make a huge difference. Remember, we are all in this together. Whatever you think and feel, so do the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, the Orions, and all the rest of them. We're in a fractal union. Everyone influences everyone else. That, plus the fact that all time is just now. And so, if something like this were to happen, then it will also be happening now, where we can feel it. Ah, another piece just snapped into place. In our expanding out, we will be given much more data than what we are used to receiving. Our senses have been more or less shut down for centuries on this planet. So, in their waking up, we'll be running into all sorts of odd things we're not very used to. Things we're very not used to destroy the language. Let us not shut down and reject things due to fear, my friends. Can you make a pact in heart with me to stand firm within, no matter what comes? Let us be that core elite, the ones who can be counted on to keep not just their heads, but keep to their hearts when the going gets rough, if it should do that. And by elite, I don't mean better than anyone else. There's no such thing in the one that all is. Let us remember, we are Source. Don't be surprised at miracles happening right there where you are. When you are Source, and you know it, such things tend to happen, but only when needed. No ego nonsense, okay? Not even in play. Well, maybe I'm too Capricornian orderly with that one. I do take this stuff seriously, though, in this sense. We can do a serious lot of damage or a serious lot of blessing being Source. It's no small matter. So, though we are divine, yes we are also responsible with it. It's so very simple, my friends. Self and now. Or, better yet, self and now here. That's pretty much all. That, and just staying in heart. Now, how hard is that? Even in the midst of the battle, one can remember such a thing. So, For those who want to, let's practice it as if it were a motto. Self, and now here, within heart. How does it sound? I rather like it. The more we have it pre-programmed in, that much better shape will we be in should push come to shove. Self, and now here in heart. Okay, I say that this one is in the running for the very strangest journal yet. I don't even want to ask how much different can they get, for fear of the answer. Not literal fear, mind you, just a turn of phrase. Looks like I've discovered yet another phrase that's headed for the ash heap. Hey, words are powerful things. I love you guys. Thanks for putting up with me, even when I may seem a mite crazy. I just have that much faith in heart. I'm willing to go anywhere with it. So, time will tell the story one day. What we own, where we live, who we're with, won't matter so much. What will count is our essence, our core, and how loyal to that, how connected to that were we, and did we remain so? That will tell the tale. Let's let it be one we'd love our great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren to read and be told as a bedtime story to make them feel safe and well cared for. Let us all finally begin to remember to consider the coming generations in our plans. Let us drop the short-sightedness that has plagued humanity, kept us in chains for so many centuries now, tied down to little self and ego while stuck firmly in mind and short-sightedness. Those days are over as soon as we say they are. It really and truly is up to each one of us. It's up to us. The difference that each one can make is simply huge. It's time to once again own that and to know that life without honor and integrity is no life at all. We've had enough of that. Its day is over. And so too for the powers that were. Let us help write finis to their story. God bless them and all, but no more. Namaste, my friends. A fond good night.